She murdered her closest friend and claimed her home, if only she had realized. The jealous flame. In the heart of Utoni village, where red earth met endless skies, two women grew up like sisters. Amina and Zulay were inseparable, laughing under the baobab trees, sharing calabashes of palm wine, and dreaming of futures wrapped in golden promise. But as the years passed, the threads that held their bond began to fray. Amina, beautiful and bold, had always been the village's golden girl. But it was Zulay, quiet and cunning, who had the patience to wait for fortune. When Amina married Alamade, the wealthy cocoa trader with land and livestock, Zulay smiled on the outside. On the inside, bitterness brewed like a storm. Zulay married too, but her husband was a drunkard who spent his days sleeping and his nights gambling. Their hut was a lean-to compared to Amina's wide compound with painted walls and goats bleating in the yard. Amina would often bring food for Zulay, a gesture that felt more like charity than friendship. One rainy afternoon, the seeds of betrayal finally sprouted. Amina invited Zulay for lunch. As they sat on woven mats and shared cassava stew, Amina beamed. "I have news," she whispered, touching her belly. "I'm with child." Alamade is overjoyed. Zulay forced a smile, her stomach tightening with envy. That child would inherit everything. The compound, the wealth, the respect. And Zulay, what did she have? Hunger and a hut. Later that evening, Zulay walked home under the weight of jealousy so thick it made her heart pound. By the time she reached her doorstep, her mind had already begun to whisper dangerous things. What if Amina was gone? The idea took root like a weed. Over the following days, Zulay's visits became more frequent, her tone sweeter. She offered to help with chores, brought herbs for Amina's pregnancy, and shared calming teas. No one suspected her growing hatred. Even Amina, glowing with maternal joy, never sensed the danger. Then one night, under a crescent moon, Zulay made her move. She brought a mixture she claimed would ease Amina's swelling feet. It was laced with poison, slow and silent. Over the next 2 weeks, Amina weakened. Her laughter dulled, her steps faltered, and one morning, Alamade found her cold and breathless beside their marriage bed. The village mourned. Alamade was broken. The unborn child was gone too. Zulay wept with the others, wailing and beating her chest. But in secret, she smiled. Weeks turned into months, and Zulay's plan moved forward. She began visiting Alamade, comforting him. Slowly, she offered food again, this time to him. Grief-stricken and vulnerable, Alamade leaned on her. Within 6 moons, they were wed. Now Zulay stood at the heart of the compound she had once envied, queen of the home she had stolen. But strange things began to happen. Amina's favorite bird, a red-crested hornbill, returned daily to perch on the rooftop, crying into the dusk. At night, Zulay heard footsteps on the porch, bare feet shuffling like someone carrying life within. And each morning, she found Amina's wedding beads in a different place, though she had buried them deep in a calabash beneath the kitchen floor. Zulay tried to ignore it, claiming wind or forgetfulness. But her soul knew. The home she had claimed was not empty. It had never been. She murdered her closest friend and claimed her home, if only she had realized. Whispers in the walls. The compound looked the same, painted walls, freshly swept courtyard, goats resting under the mango tree, but to Zulay, it felt colder, heavier. Every corner held a shadow that whispered Amina's name. She tried to settle into her new role as Alamade's wife. She wore Amina's clothes, filled her seat at the village meetings, and slept in the same bed where Amina once dreamed of motherhood. But nothing brought peace. At night, Alameda tossed and turned, haunted by visions he couldn't name. She comes to me, he murmured one morning, rubbing sleep from his eyes. I see her. Standing beside the bed. Zulei's hands froze mid-sweep. You must be dreaming, she said too quickly. But it wasn't just Alameda. Their house girl, Tenny, barely 15, refused to go into the back room where Amina used to sit and weave. There's someone in there, she whispered to Zulei one evening. She hums lullabies even when no one is home. Zulei slapped the girl and warned her never to speak such nonsense again. But that night, when Zulei passed the weaving room, she heard the soft tune of a lullaby, Amina's favorite one, the same she sang under the baobab tree before announcing her pregnancy. Zulei's breath caught in her throat. She began to have dreams, Amina, dressed in white, eyes hollow and sorrowful, walking slowly through the compound with blood dripping from her fingers. In each dream, Amina would turn and whisper the same thing, return what is mine. By day, Zulei tried to act normal. She visited the market, smiled at neighbors, and told herself she was imagining things. But her skin itched constantly, and she began to feel watched, even when alone. One afternoon, as she fetched water from the clay pot by the kitchen, she saw something that turned her bones to ash. There, pressed into the damp earth, were two sets of barefoot prints, one large, one small. As though a mother and child had walked through the compound. But she and Alameda had no child. She stared at the prints, heart racing, then poured the water on them quickly to erase the evidence. But water couldn't wash away guilt. Desperate, Zulei went to the old herbalist, Baba Oro, a man feared and respected for speaking with the dead. She entered his dark hut, her veil pulled low. I need cleansing, she said softly. Baba Oro stared into her eyes for a long moment, then muttered, you carry a death on your skin. Zulei flinched. What do you mean? The one you wronged lingers. She has not passed. She watches. I didn't. You took what was not yours, Baba Oro growled, voice like rustling leaves. The earth knows. The spirits know. And now the walls know. Zulei left shaken, her hands trembling as she returned to the compound. She tried to burn herbs, scatter ash, recite chants Baba Oro gave her, but the haunting only grew stronger. One morning, Alameda found the calabash hidden beneath the kitchen floor. Inside were Amina's wedding beads, stained with blood. He stared at them, then at Zulei, his eyes full of questions. Zulei opened her mouth to speak, but a wind rushed through the compound, slamming doors and rattling windows. From the back room, the sound of a baby crying echoed, loud and clear. But there was no baby. Zulei's heart pounded. The home she had stolen was alive. The child beneath the hearth. After the discovery of the calabash, Alameda changed. He no longer looked at Zulei with the warmth he once did. Instead, his eyes were clouded, full of questions he was afraid to ask aloud. Zulei noticed. He spoke less, stayed longer at the cocoa farms, and often sat outside the compound late into the night, staring into nothing. The air between them had thickened, heavy with things unsaid. Zulei tried to pretend everything was normal. She cleaned more, prayed louder, and forced meals into bowls that no one wanted to eat. But even the goats had stopped coming near the house. They bleated nervously and avoided the steps. One hot afternoon, Zulei heard a scratching sound beneath the hearth where firewood was kept. It was faint at first, like a rat. But as she knelt to investigate, she heard something chilling, soft breathing. Then a quiet giggle. Her blood turned to ice. No child lives here, she whispered to herself, trying to control her shaking hands. No child. But as she rose to her feet, something tugged at her wrapper. She spun around. Nothing. Only dust and silence. That night, she dared not sleep. She sat in the main room with a lantern flickering beside her, its light casting strange shapes on the mud walls. Around midnight, she heard a voice. A small, fragile voice humming, Amina's lullaby. Zule covered her ears, but the sound grew louder until it felt like it was coming from inside her own chest. She stood abruptly and began to pray, calling on every spirit and name she had ever heard whispered by elders. Suddenly, the lantern shattered. Darkness swallowed the room. A wind rushed through the compound, carrying with it the sound of a woman weeping. Then, silence. The next morning, Olamide returned home early. His face was pale, and his hands shook as he held a wooden rattle in his palm. "I found this outside, by the graveyard," he said, voice hollow. "It belonged to the unborn child. Amina carved it herself." Zule stepped back. Why would it be there? Olamide looked at her for a long time. "That's what I've come to ask you." Zule's lips moved, but no words came. That night, he refused her touch. He locked his door and slept alone. The isolation drove her into madness. She dug behind the hearth, convinced a child was buried there. She pulled up stones, tore through the earth with bleeding hands, searching for something, anything, that would explain the haunting. All she found was a single bead from Amina's necklace, buried deep in the soil. She screamed. The villagers began to talk. Some said Zule was cursed. Others said Amina's spirit had returned for revenge. Tenny, the house girl, had fled the compound days earlier and refused to return, telling people that she had seen Amina's shadow brushing Zule's hair in the night. And still, the hauntings continued. The baby's giggle echoed down the hall. Wet footprints appeared in the yard after dry nights. The bed groaned under invisible weight. And every mirror in the house cracked, one by one. Zule knew now, she had not just killed a friend. She had stolen a future. A home. A legacy. But Amina was not gone. She and her unborn child remained, trapped between worlds, anchored to the house that once held their dreams. And they were growing restless. Beautiful. Let's keep Ada's story going and see how her legacy begins to shape the next generation. 5 years pass after Ada married Dr. Kwame. Dem now get 2 children, Shadira and Kofi. 1 girl, 1 boy. Sharp children, brain full, eyes bright. Even elders they say, these ones go carry Ada's spirit go far. By this time, Yumuoko Don turned small heaven. The school now be full secondary school. Ada build computer lab, put internet. Children they learn how to type, code, and design. One small boy even win National Science Award, na from Ada Foundation him they benefit. Dr. Kwame opened dental clinic beside Ada's health center. Both husband and wife they work like say na village raised them both. No pride, no wahala, just love. But one day, trouble come. Big company from city come with bulldozers. Dem say na oil day under Yumuoko land. Dem want buy the land cheap, spoil the water, cut the trees. The village chief, old and greedy, want collect money behind everybody back. But Ada no gree. She gather community, print flyers, call local journalists. She tell them, this land raise us. If we sell 'em, we sell our future. The company try bribe her. She say, I know they sell my people. They try threaten her. Her husband say, we stand together. We no fear. 3 months of protest. 3 months of sleepless night. But finally, the government stopped the company. Say the land be protected community zone now. The village dance like never before. Ada turn legend, not just because she bring light and water, but because she protect the soil. Later, she build one big hall, call 'em Hope Center. Inside day library, training room, small bank, and one hall for village meetings. Children from far places now day come Yumuoko. Parents day bring dem say, go learn where Ada learn. And Shadira, her daughter, now already talking like lawyer. Mama, she say, when I grow up, I go fight for people the way you fight. Ada just smile. My Peking, I no fight. I just do wet and right. Kofi, the small boy, they always help him papa. Say him one become doctor too, but for village people way no fit pay. So, the seed way Ada plant 15 years ago. E don turn tree. The fruit, e sweet, and e still day grow. And as sun set that evening, Mama Ada, now old and gray, look her daughter and whisper, you know just change your life, you change the world. All right, let's take it another 15 years forward. The children are grown now, and Ada's legacy is about to stretch beyond even her wildest dreams. 15 more years dawn walk a like breeze. Ada now day gray proper. Her steps no quick again, but her eyes still sharp like day she first returned Yumuoko. Shadira, her daughter, now be full-blown human rights lawyer. She no day live in village again, she day Abuja, but every 2 months, she go enter night bus or flight, land for Yumuoko like hurricane. Her name day radio, newspaper, even TV. People day say, that Ada Peking no day fear anybody. She fight for widows way land dem wan collect. She defend girls way dem day force marry. She even carry Yumuoko matter reach United Nations conference one time. When she talk say, I come from a village my mother saved, people clap like thunder. Meanwhile, Kofi Don turn one of the youngest medical professors for West Africa. But him no just day do book work. Him day move from village to village with mobile clinic. He say, my mama build one clinic, but I go build 1,000 with my hands. He marry nurse way he meet during one outreach, and both of them now day run a non-profit hospital chain called Mama Ada Care. The name alone day bring tears for villagers' eyes. Yumuoko Don become symbol. Government day send people there to learn community development. Foreign NGOs day donate every year. And anytime dem ask, who start all this? Villagers go Ada old house and say, nah from there the light begin. Ada, now 65, no day talk plenty. She go just sit for her veranda, drink zobo, smile as children day run around Hope Center. Sometimes, she write small advice for girls way come meet her. One girl say, Auntie Ada told me, nah your pain fit turn you to blessing, if you no give up. One day, dem do Ada birthday for village square. People come from Ghana, Abuja, even overseas. Shadira and Kofi plan the whole thing. Dem no just bring cake, they bring scholarship fund, new ambulance, and promise of more. As Ada climbs small stage with her walking stick, she talk. I no get big English. I just be one poor girl way wait 15 years. But if light fit reach my house, e fit reach anywhere. Make we never stop planting, because children go grow become roots way go hold this world strong. Tears full everybody eye. Children chant, Ada, Ada, Ada. That night, under the stars, music day play, drums day beat. But more than that, hope day bounce like heartbeat. And the story of one girl, one mama, one village, still day go.